What's going on, Memphis fans? It's Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media. You're sitting down at the Tigers Den for a special report as we sit down and talk about Ryan Silverfield and just a reality check for a lot of fans out there who still, I classify them as fickle. I mean, if you think back a couple years ago after the Temple win, Silverfield also described this certain fan base that we're still referring to as fickle. And what it does is it just creates controversy and it stirs up division amongst the fan base. And what it does, it further stirs division across campus, which is more important because once you start affecting other programs, other fan bases across the campus, this is where we start having problems. We're going to probably push some buttons in this show today. We're powered by Fanatics for all your Memphis fans. Gear. We're powered by Southwest Airlines, your ticket to away games and beyond. But this has been structured in a way that it's going to bring some attention to some people who have been, like I said, fickle. Self-sabotaging is really what it is. Or you can even go any further to say disloyal. But if you don't understand, and like I was commenting on social media last night, if you don't understand where this program has been, you can't get a full understanding of where it is today. After the game, Silverfield said, "I'm proud to be the head football coach of this program." 32-31 win yesterday over Arkansas. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But at the end of the day, Ryan Silverfield is the guy for the job. And with Power 5 openings, could be vultures. What do you then what does this type of fan do when Silverfield is no longer here? It's going to be a little I'd say it's going to be a little bit raw. It's going to be a little unfiltered. But welcome to the Tigers Den, presented to you by 4-Star Sports Media. Like I said, I'm your host, Wes Pruitt. And folks, if you're a Tiger fan who's been doubting Ryan Silverfield, this episode is probably going to hit you like a Sutton Smith touchdown run, which is straight in the gut. We are going to talk about the big time win, 32-31 over Arkansas, which if you listened to Josh Bertaccini's show up here in Northwest Arkansas this week on Wednesday, you heard us literally predict the win. We said we thought it would be between a 3 and 6 point win, close game. 32-31 is about as close as it gets. Memphis currently holds the nation's longest win streak, which is 8 games. And the question is, why are some Fairweather fans? Why do they need to wake up? I'm gonna answer this question, but they need to wake up before they lose one of the best coaches this program has ever had. If you paid attention to our coverage at all, you've heard John Sturdivant and I very vocal, and others very vocal about the job Silverfield has done since he's taken over in 2020. What we saw yesterday, the grit. He said yesterday they had a certain feel about themselves. He said they are built differently. But Tiger Den's faith, look, if you're lurking in the shadows waiting on me to say something that you can go run with or that you think is dumb, that's fine. You can continue to watch. That's fine. We appreciate the views. 39,861 fans yesterday. First capacity crowd since 2019. Talked about Josh Bertaccini's show on Wednesday. I said then, You have to treat this game like the 2019 game, and according to the sellout, they did. The 18-point deficit that Memphis overcame was the FBS biggest comeback of the season. And like I said, it extends to 8-game win streak, which is the longest in the nation. They're 4-0 on the year. They are the current group of 5 leader for the college football playoff. And yet some people are still whispering doubts, still questioning, complaining. Oh, well, the conference we're in is just dragging us down. If you're questioning if he's a long-term guy, that's not just short-sighted, it's just straight up self-sabotage. Silverfield, a coach that has now been with the program for 10 years. He's been head coach since 2020. He's not just surviving year to year, he's thriving year to year. And if the Fickle fans don't get on board, if it's the, oh, we're Penny's the man, Silverfield sucks. But if you don't get on board, you're going to be the reason that Memphis turns into a Cincinnati after Luke Fickle left, or possibly even a Central Florida after Scott Frost left, or possibly a Houston, who's currently, yes, they're in the Big 12, but they're struggling year after year. So let's just break it down. Let's start with yesterday. Down 28-10 in the second quarter against Arkansas. No stranger to big lights now, by the way. Arkansas just went and played at Ole Miss in an absolute dogfight. Hogs are now 2-2, 0-1 in the SEC. But it's a Power 4 opponent, like John and I talked about last night. In that situation, other Memphis teams in the past would have folded. Not this team. Not the team we've seen since 2020. It was a masterclass in resilience, and it's what he's hammered in, all in, since day one. Yesterday, for the offense to just completely just explode the way it did, most rushing yards since 2021 with 290 yards on the ground. And they haven't scored under 20 points in 44 straight games. That's the nation's longest streak. People out there that said Memphis had some good backs. Well, Sutton Smith, people, who is Sutton Smith? He's the guy that ran for 148 yards, career high, 64-yard, absolute final dagger that capped off a 94-yard drive, touchdown drive at that. But people question Silverfield. They question decisions. They question the people he brings in, coaching staff and players for that matter. But what you cannot question is the fact that he and his staff have been able to create a talent pipeline to the University of Memphis, through the University of Memphis, to the NFL and to other leagues. You look at the Canadian Football League, there's Tigers there too. They've been able to develop guys, but what he's also been able to do is he's been able to maneuver the waters of the NIL and the transfer portal, and this year proves that. Memphis was the only team last year in all of FBS to have to replace a 4-year quarterback starter. What did Silverfield do? He went and got Brendan Lewis. What has Brendan Lewis done since he's been here? He's shattered records that have been set for 30 years. He ran for 103 yards yesterday. That completely shattered the record by Danny Wimprine. Danny Wimprine back in 2001 of 81 yards. 2 scores yesterday on the ground. A lot of people questioned, and a lot of critics were very, very just bashing him for his quote inconsistencies and his inaccuracies, and he couldn't throw the ball, he couldn't hit a wide receiver. But if you go back and look at his performance in the second half, he was 10 of 15. I'll go ahead and tell you what his performance was. He was 10 of 15 passing in the second half of that football game. You look at what he did he was 50% passing, 15 to 30, by the way. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Had two rushing scores, like I just said. Under Silverfield and under offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey, he's been able to come in and create history, and we're just 4 games into the season. And in perhaps the most critical moment of the game, 3rd and 8 situation, late in the game, after Brendan Lewis's helmet comes off, out trots Arrington Maiden. What did they do? Kept the play call. Kept him out there. That's not luck, people. That's Silverfield having trust in his program that he's built since 2020. And you can sit here and say, oh, well, he was right off the coattails of Mike Norvell. Well, let me ask you this. Who was Mike Norvell off the coattails of? It's a rhetorical question because we all should know the answer. If you look at what Ryan Silverfield's done with the program since 2020 through the NIL, through the transfer portal, through COVID, look at his recruiting. But if you look at that play yesterday, just in itself, it's a microcosm of what this program has been under Ryan Norvell's leadership. I'm sorry, Ryan Silverfield's leadership. He trusted players in the fire. He out-schemed an SEC staff. It's 4 straight wins over the SEC, by the way. 2021 against Mississippi State, 2015, and 2019 against Ole Miss. If yesterday didn't convince you that this season is special and that this football program is special under Ryan Silverfield and under his thumb, you're either blind or you're biased. Hell, maybe you're just too weak-kneed and you prefer whining over winning. Because that's what Ryan Silverfield has done since he's been here. He's won. Moreover, his players win off the football field. We spoke with Lauren Hillman. We spoke about how the passion this program has to get into the city of Memphis, for these players to be young men, to be college students at the same time, but to give back to the city, to go to Le Bonheur. Y'all know what Le Bonheur means to me on a personal level. I spent a large portion of my young childhood there. People questioned a lot of decisions that he's made. Defensively, another spot where skeptics have claimed that Silverfield may be soft. Well, you're wrong again. This defense continues to force turnovers, and that's what this defense does. That's what they did yesterday. Memphis has now forced 41 turnovers in 24 games. They're a takeaway machine. They're a turnover machine. Jaden Dennis with an early pick yesterday set the tone. But the play by Chris Bracey, 1:22 left in the game. Arkansas driving. Memphis has the lead 32-31. Arkansas is driving with a chance to win the game. They asked Sam Pittman after the game, why didn't he just take a knee and run the clock out? And he said, I wanted to get the first down to force him being Ryan Silverfield, to take his timeouts. With that, Mike Washington hits the hole. More importantly, Chris Bracey hits the ball, pops it out, picks it up, snatching victory from the Razorbacks. Kamari Wilson yesterday had an incredible football game. 8 tackles, a pick, a pass breakup, and an absolute massive shot on Taylon Green. Silverfield's created a staff that has a high-octane offense that's balanced, a ball-hawking defense, which creates an absolute massive beast in college football. Once again, the Fickle fans, your doubts are just laughable at this point in time. But there's also people out there, and I'll call them out, I don't care. There's also people out there that SEC Unfiltered, for example, who makes a post, Arkansas belt to ass Memphis Tigers. Well, that post aged like milk, and we went on there as 4-Star Sports Media and posted the lack of respect for any conference or team is laughable. This is what's wrong with a lot of fans, a lot of so-called media members. You can only trash people for so long. And eventually people get tired of it. We saw it 2 years ago with Ron Silver. I talked about it at the onset of the show. Silverfield fired back at the fans. He's not a one-trick pony, folks. He's continuing to forge an absolute empire in college football. And for those of you that want to act like, oh, okay, name me another coach that has won back-to-back 10-win seasons. Go ahead, put it in the comments. We appreciate everybody watching and listening. Put it in the comments. Or if you are listening to this later on, send us a message. Name us another coach besides Ron Silverfield that has won back-to-back 10-plus win seasons. While you're at it, name another coach that's won every bowl game he has been the head coach in for an entire season. Name another coach that's won every single one of them. He was 7-0 last year. He being Ron Silverfield, 7-0 last year at home. It's consistency, folks. It's continuity. We talked about it in an article recently. Continuity on campus, continuity within his staff. You look across college football, you look at the change. You look at everything that's changed in college football. You know what hasn't changed on the campus of the University of Memphis football? Their coordinators. You know how rare that is across this landscape, especially with the NIL, with portal, with the way coaches are jumping and moving and everything else? It's very rare. But here's the controversial truth. Some Memphis fans are the problem. You've grumbled about recruiting, about not being in a Power 4 conference, about not playing top competition, about being stuck in a weak conference that is killing the program. It's time to own your own BS. Silverfield's vision has Memphis on the cusp of another New Year's Six bowl, but more importantly, a potential landing spot in the college football playoff, which gives them an opportunity to win a national championship, which no other team in Memphis history has done. I talked about the portal. I talked about continuity. Brendan Lewis, Nevada, former Nevada quarterback. You bring in former Nevada wide receiver Cortez Brown. He had 7 catches yesterday, 102 yards and a touchdown. Another gem from Ryan Silver. If you're not hedging, you're not a fan. You're a fraud. You're a fraud, is what you are. If you sit around and you just complain, yet this team has now continued. They're 4-0. First time since 2019 that's happened. It's time for you to either rally or get out of the way. Because this is how coaches get ran off. This is how coaches and their families get tired. But I'll tell you this, I know. Matter of fact, I know this. Ryan Silverfield loves being the head coach at the University of Memphis. Speaking of rallying, go get your gear at Fanatics. Go get official Tiger merch. Show you're all in for Memphis Tigers at fanatics.com. And while you're at it, fly over to southwest.com. As you got a road trip on the way, going down to Florida Atlantic coming up this weekend, 6 p.m. kickoff Saturday night, ESPN2. If you're flying down to Boca, jump on Southwest. No fan left behind. But I talked about rallying, and I talk about the support that is deserved, to be honest with you. Because if you don't, there's already teams that can come get him right now. I understand it's UCLA West. It's Virginia Tech West. I really don't think Virginia Tech's going to hire another Memphis coach. You may be right. But if segment 1 of the show didn't light a fire under the doubters, this one will. We're talking about the coach's carousel. It's already spinning, like I said. Just 4 weeks into the game. I promise you, more's coming. It's guaranteed. Silverfield is prime meat for these vultures. Memphis fans. The fickle ones. If you let him slip because of your fickle BS, you deserve the mediocrity that could follow. Look across the country. I talked about it earlier. Look at Cincinnati after Luke Fickle. Look at Wisconsin right now with Luke Fickle. He understands the standard. He understands the culture. He understands the city. Think back to that Navy win after that horrific incident across the city of Memphis. Think back to the emotion from Ryan Silverfield following that win. What did he say? It's for the city. It's for Memphis. It's for the 901. He understands that vibe. He understands what it takes. He understands the stakes, more importantly. And if you don't get behind him in this program, 4-0. Conference realignment. If you lose him now, it's catastrophic for your football program. Has the potential to be. But your distrust only plays in to all the rivals' hands. It only plays into every naysayer's hands. And ignoring this isn't loyalty, it's negligence. Hell, it's borderline treason to the program, if you want to be honest about it. That win yesterday over Arkansas, that was not just a W. That's a rally cry. John and I talked about it. It's a rally cry, and it's ammo for the ACC conversations. It's ammo for the Big 12. Memphis is a sleeping giant. But without Ryan Silverfield leading the way, this program will go to sleep. He's the engine. Doubters who want to say, oh, well, I don't think he's ready for the big time. Really? He's outcoached SEC staffs. And as we learned with basketball coaches, If you lose him, you're going to regret watching him host trophies in some fat cat conference while we wallow in the quote horrible American. We saw the sellout for the Arkansas game. Continue it. Just like John and I talked about last night. Because all these Fickle fans, this is on you. Stop the whispering and start showing up. Continue to pack out Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And the good thing is, if you buy your tickets now, they're cheaper than they are on game week, because on game week, they now go up $5. The boosters are getting their wallets out. Invest now or pay for your laziness. I'm not coddling, folks. I'm telling the truth. As a fan, Fickle fan, you either trust his vision or you get lost. Period. Because he's your guy. Instead of having a what could have been situation with the head coach, let's have a remember what happened when with this head coach. As we get close to wrapping it up here, like I said, it's just been a show on a reality check for Memphis Tiger football fans. A small percentage of Memphis Tiger football fans. But in the end, Memphis, if you don't believe now, when are you? Ryan Silverfield has continued to build this empire. You either have to get on board or you have to get off the boat. There's no more both. There's no more you ride both. It's either you're in or you're out. That's what all in means. Like I said, thanks for tuning in. Head over to 4 Star Sports Media on Facebook, at 4 Star Sports M on Twitter. Subscribe, rate, roar loud. But show real support. Yesterday was a good sign. Seeing that place rocking yesterday, continue it. We know it can be done. We just saw it yesterday when the Tigers ribbed the Razorbacks, 32-31. 18-point deficit, folks. Largest in the NCAA, largest in the FBS so far this year. Appreciate everyone tuning in. If I ruffle feathers, that's fine. If I got some people upset, that's fine. Because you won't be able to roll this tape back and say that I'm lying. I've been watching this program for over 30 years. By the way, if you go back and listen to Josh Bertuccini, like I said earlier, there was a prediction of a Memphis win. Very close game, 3 to 6 points. And if you go back and listen, I talked about specifically the Memphis defense, how they play within the scheme and how they play with more confidence. That's just context onto what I just said for the last 30 minutes. This is unapologetic, by the way. If you don't get behind this football team, then you deserve to be left behind. But at the end of the day, 4-0. Get ready to take a road trip down to Florida Atlantic. Going to be a tough one. But 4-0 in the year. Knocked off SEC opponent Arkansas to conclude non-conference slate. Now the Tigers head into American Athletic play. We'll be back more this evening as we do Conference Crunch. We'll talk about this game and more. But thank you to everybody tuning in. And as always, folks, go Tigers.